What's up, YouTube? In the great outdoors here in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's currently July 3rd, just before the holiday here in America, 2026. My name is Mike, and I wanted to share a personal story with you. So I'm actually currently on my, crazy to say this, it's 10 days since I haven't taken 7-OH. I wanted to kind of make this video as a public service announcement that this stuff should be fucking illegal. And that line right there, I don't care if it's offensive to anybody, and I'm sure it's helped some people, but you can tell right there at the end of this video, I'm not trying to sell you any courses. I'm not trying to make any money off of this or monetize it, because the foul language would probably demonetize it anyways. But 7-OH is extremely dangerous. People have had seizures from it. There are undocumented deaths indirectly linked to 7-OH. And I'm not talking about kratom. Sorry for the noise. Like I said, I'm in the outdoors and I don't have a lapel on me. I don't have a microphone. Here's the bottom line. This stuff attaches itself to your mu opioid receptors, which is something I've been completely ignorant to my entire adult life. I've never been an addict. I've never had problems with drugs. Yes, I've experimented with drugs just like everybody else has. Not everybody, but I mean, I'm almost 40 years old. And I've been a successful guy for most of my adult life. So as you can imagine, living in South Florida before I had to move here, which is not something I'm going to get into right now, I dabbled. But nothing got me in its grasps like 7-OH. And this is a really humbling video to make. I just want to make everybody aware that if you're taking it, stop cold turkey. Talk to your doctor first, because obviously I can't give out medical advice because I'm not one. But make sure you are in the physical shape that you need to be in to have the adequate amount of, let's say, for lack of a better way of putting it, adequate healthy cells in your body to be able to fight the addiction once you start to go through withdrawals, because you can have a seizure. You potentially could die from it. What it is basically kind of like with people, the sick fucks like the cartels out there that took heroin and upgraded heroin to fentanyl, making it however many times more deadly it is to take that shit and having people put it in their bodies instead of heroin. It's the same thing that people did when they started to capitalize on people getting hooked on kratom and not being able to get high anymore. So they decided to synthesize a drug that's more concentrated and popular because it gives you a more intense high and gets you hooked quicker. If that's not Satan on this planet, I don't know what is. And at the end of the day, I don't judge anybody out there for being addicted. I've never been an addict. I became temporarily dependent on this stuff. Thank God I only did it for a few months, thinking that it was something that would aid me in anxiety relief, that would aid me in kind of suppressing some emotional baggage that I've had that I haven't really handled appropriately over the years. But there's no excuse to take it. Man the fuck up and get off the shit. I'm telling you right now. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to be your internet cyber connection. No. I'm here to say I wish you well if you're dealing with this. But the quicker you stop, the quicker you'll get better. There's no way I would fucking be walking right now, literally, if I didn't quit taking 7-OH. It was so bad the first couple of days, I thought I was going to fucking die. And I'm a tough motherfucker, okay? I got a tattoo that goes up over my head. I've been a millionaire more than once in my life. I'm a self-made man. I'm Christian, and I wouldn't have been able to get through this without my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I can tell you that right now. Because in those first couple of nights, and this isn't to scare anybody that's on 7-OH, just to warn you what you're probably in for. I had to literally say my own prayer. Positivity lives, negativity dies, devil get behind me, the Lord is my shepherd, I'm a soldier in God's army. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. And I'm not here to oppose my beliefs on anybody, I'm just trying to tell you. It's not good for you. And anybody can argue something like, oh, well, Sugar's not good for you. No fucking shit, but I love chocolate, so sue me. I eat chocolate. I've also had an 8-pack for the vast majority of my life, and more money than most people I know, so I don't really give a fuck if I eat chocolate. I don't have anything to prove to anybody anymore. That's why I'm unashamedly posting this on the internet, because there are so many people out there that silently suffer, and there needs to be a bigger voice for those people. And there's children on. I want to make sure my mouth is appropriate. Hang on a second. So anyways, like I was saying, there were some neighbors walking by, so I wanted to make sure that I toned down the foul language for a minute. Because I'm in public, obviously, walking around. But I'm currently taking a walk right now. Forcing myself after being bedridden for 10 fucking days. I've had COVID. I've had pneumonia. I've been sick for over a year before with vestibular neuritis. It was this nerve damage in my left ear, which not many people know about me. But in spite of being as accomplished as I am, I actually have nerve damage from an infection that went unchecked because the doctors weren't familiar with the condition when I was 20 years old. And I was nauseous and dizzy for a year. I can tell you right now, this last 10 days is worse than dealing with that entire year. I would almost say that time in my life was the hardest time in my life, tied with now. When it comes to all the other bullshit that I'm not going to get into because it's not something I want to talk about on the internet that I'm going through, coupled with the 7-OH withdrawal, is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. But you know what? God gave his toughest battles to his strongest motherfucking soldiers. And at the end of the day, people that know me know I'm an animal. I'm an animal in the best way. And I'm not going to get too much on my pulpit and try to be preachy and talk about success. I've already made it clear that I've done well for myself at certain points in my life. And I'm not here to fucking show you all the cars I've had, because I've had about 11 exotic cars before the age of 40. Okay? I'm not trying to sell you anything. Anybody trying to show their shit off on the internet typically is just trying to get attention. I'm not trying to get attention. I'm trying to bring awareness to this 7-OH. I'm trying to bring awareness to the 7-OH. This is something that is sold at gas stations. And it's supposed to be made for people that are 21 and older. Not all the packaging says that. You could walk in that motherfucker probably 16 years old and buy Kratom. They don't necessarily have to ID you. Think about it. These businesses don't care. They're just trying to make a profit. So, by any means necessary, they're going to turn a fucking profit. Right? So what are they going to do? They're going to poison our kids. They're going to poison your mother. They're going to poison me. They're going to poison everybody. Why do you think so many people from other countries don't like eating food in America? Now, we all make conscious decisions on what we put in our bodies. I don't buy this whole addiction as a disease thing. Bullshit. You made the fucking choice to put the cheeseburger in your mouth, you're going to get fat. You made the choice to put the drug in your system, you may or may not get addicted. So, at the end of the day, you have to really put yourself in a position where you say, am I going to let this thing take over my life? And some people will pay the ultimate price and have. Will I let this take my life? I've lost people personally that have had addiction problems. But at the end of the day, you got to be stronger than that. And although the acute withdrawals are really tough to deal with, the alternative is worse. The alternative is worse. The alternative is being stuck on something like 7-OH, feeling like you can't get off of it. And although it's a physical dependency, at the end of the day, it's also a mental one. So you're dealing with something on both fronts. You're dealing with the psychological warfare between you and your dependence on this substance, and then you're also dealing with the physical, actual withdrawals, which typically last anywhere from 3 to 10 days. I'm on day 10 now. And I'm going to tell you right the fuck now, this thing will not beat me. Nothing's ever beat me. I'm undefeated in life. I'm fucking undefeated in life, period. Okay, I'm not going to sit here, I'm not going to graduate to heroin, I'm not going to graduate to fentanyl, none of that fucking shit. Okay? I've never been addicted to anything in my entire life. And this got close, but I only became chemically dependent on it for a very short period of time. I took it for a couple months, and now I'm saying enough's enough. And I haven't touched the fucking shit in 10 days. So, I'm here to tell you guys, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It depends on what light you want to go to, though. Because as you know, from a lot of accounts, if you're about to die, there's usually a white light. So you can either walk towards death, or you can walk towards a brighter future and still be alive and enjoy the blessing and gift that is life that you have in front of you right now. Because even for my American subscribers, okay, if you grew up in the United States, do you know how fucking lucky you are? Do you have any idea what you're taking for granted every day? Taking a ton of shit for granted every day. Even me, I'm guilty of it. So you gotta man up, you gotta woman up, you gotta talk to your doctor first, and then after you get done talking to your doctor, make sure that you have a protocol in place to make sure that you're adequately healthy to just straight up cold turkey this. And I'm telling you right now, these motherfuckers out there are going to try to put you on Suboxone. All it is a government implemented drug that they spent $67.5 million on to get people hooked on a version of opiate that is manufactured by the government. Think about that. So if you think you're going to try to trade one chemical for another because you're just going to get clean at the end of the day, right? But you're going to get on opiates first. No, it's bullshit. Suboxone literally will kill you because it is an opiate agonist, which means it acts on the same exact receptors as the 7-OH, except it's way stronger because the half-life, which means how long the drug stays in your system for, is much more stronger and much longer acting, which means once you get on Suboxone, you actually have to fucking taper off of that at the end of the day. So it's literally, you're trading one addiction for the other. It doesn't make any sense. Man, it's hot out here. Anyways, I don't know how many more of these videos I'm going to do. But I promise that I'll try my best to keep you guys updated, but I'm a very busy guy. I run several companies, and I'm in a transition period in my life. So I got to figure out what the fuck I'm doing, and that's probably not going to be sitting in front of a phone for too much longer. But I'll do my best to try to update you guys as I continue along. But yeah, anyways, day 10, July 3rd, 2026.